Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to United Front. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we've got Christina. Jacob is out and about somewhere. I don't know. We think he might be joining us shortly. Welcome on in, everybody. Christina,
Hello,
how
hello.
was your weekend without United Soccer?
It was kind of sad. I was bummed about it,
I
but I did
was
wake
too.
up to a winter wonderland in my yard, which was really nice. Of course, it melted by noon. Uh, um, and I was gonna maybe try to catch some of the games, but ended up baking with my mom. So it was kind of like a
Okay.
mom-daughter kind of day, which was kind of cool. And then
Yeah.
Sunday was the last day of the Top Soccer, the adapted soccer clinic that was 6 weeks long. So that was a really fun day. It was like a festival where the kids all played games and some of the first players went. And so it was like a good kind of nice little bow for my weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice. Sounds like you had a great time. I did not have any snow.
Oh,
Not here.
boo.
Like I'm not very far from the foothills. I had no snow whatsoever. There was plenty of snow, however, up in the East Mountains, and snow had helped my son's baseball practice over the weekend. So
Oh boy. Yeah, I have
yeah,
a client that lives out in Edgewood and they sent me pictures and I think the mom said it was 2 feet. They got 2 feet of snow.
2 feet. Good
Two
grief.
feet. Yeah. So, I mean, I can only imagine what Colorado Springs looked like.
Yeah, I have no idea. I was hoping to kind of see some pictures. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to anything. And we had heard on Wednesday that this was coming, that the postponement was coming, and then we were specifically asked not to say anything until the club announced it. We got the announcement on Thursday. No match over the weekend. Obviously, you don't want anybody trying to travel in inclement weather or potentially inclement weather. So match is postponed until September. Um, so
That's going to
uh,
be a doozy of a week for them in
it
September.
is. We were talking about this over in our group chat, and I mean, obviously, the whole like the end of the season, end of September, end October is going to be really busy for United. But when you look at this schedule for United now, looking ahead, way ahead to September, you've got United playing on September 10th, September 13th, September 20th, now September 24th, the 28th, and then again, not until October 11th. So a little bit of a break there at the end. But I mean, that's what, 5 matches in 18 days?
With quite a bit of travel, cross country travel too, I feel like. And then
Sacramento, well,
I
let's say
I was
four of
comparing it
those
to
five will
Colorado
be at home.
Springs. 4 or 5, 4 of the 5 are at home?
Yeah, 4 of those 5, or
Oh,
four of
that's
those
good.
6, 4 of those 6 would be at home, I should say. Well, sorry, I was looking back at Sacramento before that. Um, so there's a 6 match string. Well, okay, just looking at September, 4 of 5 would be at home. Yeah, or three of
Well,
five would be
that's
at home.
that's something.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have Detroit City, FC Tulsa at home, Colorado, Monterey on the road, and then Lexington at home. So really, not a lot of travel. But
Oh, okay. I think I misread it and was thinking they were gonna have to go Lexington to Monterey.
no,
Okay.
no,
Or
that
or
is
vice
fortunate.
versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that itself is fortunate. So, what do you think about that? I mean, obviously, at the end of the season, you really don't want a whole lot of congestion there at the end, and we've seen where people get worn down. The guys get tired,
Yep.
the legs are going, and then now you've got this where you thought you had a little bit of a gap, now you don't. I
Well,
mean,
and
is
you
this
throw in the Jägermeister Open Cup, who knows how that's gonna go. It makes me a little nervous.
that it does that is? I mean, and obviously the club size, the squad size is still on the smaller side of things. I mean, there's still plenty of time to sign people, so maybe we get some additional legs between here and there. But I mean, I would hope that coach is more than up to the task and more than able to recognize that congestion. Like, okay, we need to rotate some guys, get some legs in there, maybe get some academy kids involved just to buy some extra minutes for some guys instead of running them to death. So I'm not a fan of it, but when you look at the schedule, there really weren't very many options, especially with the league trying to avoid those midweeks this season.
Well, one benefit maybe, by then we'll have Dayon back and, hopefully getting used to some minutes. And then Pondeka, maybe. We still don't know how he's doing and what's happening, but, um, that's it'd be pretty cool to see them both playing together.
That it would be. It would be a lot of fun to see that. But that is a long, long way from now. Unfortunately, United didn't get to play over the weekend, as we were just discussing. There was a lot more that went on around the league. San Antonio got their first loss of the season. El Paso picked up a win. Sacramento still did next to nothing. So, I mean, so without United, I know you said that you were busy, did some cooking with your mom and all that. Was there anything that caught your eye looking at the results from over the weekend? Did you go back and be like, let me see what happened here?
I was surprised by the score line with Sacramento and Lou City. And then I saw the goals and I thought, well, that was a lame goal for Sacramento. That was just a goof on Lou City's keeper's side of
Mhm.
things. And I mean, it looked kind of questionable whether or not that should have been a call. But then Lou City's goal was pretty, the way that they worked the ball up the entire field and had that rebound goal. Again, keeper should have maybe caught that ball rather than punching it out. But I mean, in the little tiny bit that I saw, obviously Lou City's the better team.
Yeah,
And Sac got lucky again.
I went back. I did watch a couple games without United. I did watch the Sacramento Lou City game. And hopefully Jacob hops on. I know he's over in the chat now. We've got Andrew, Justin, and Josh over here already as well. I did watch that. And I went back and forth. I watched several different sections specifically of that match. You watch those goals. That was absolutely a mess up by the Lou City keeper. Really poor idea to try to play the ball out the way that he did. And really just more of a poor first touch by the keeper to allow Sacramento to close him down. And secondly, the pass that he did get off was not good at all.
No.
And that was entirely on him. That was not necessarily anything that Sacramento did well, but they took advantage of a mistake. And that's something we talk about all the time. Taking advantage of mistakes, taking advantage of the errors that are given by other teams. So
I thought to myself, okay, if it was United, I'd be saying what you're saying, Seth. Like they capitalized on an opportunity. But I just want to be a hater. And I just want to say Sacramento got lucky.
No, I mean they
go down the list.
I mean, call it luck. You could. I mean, I think taking advantage of it, is along the same lines of getting lucky. They got a lucky, lucky poor touch, a lucky poor pass. Like they took advantage of it. So, but no, I mean, and hopefully Jacob will hop on her because I know Jacob has access to Backheeled and Morrissey's power ranking because I want to see what happened with this. I would love to hear what happened if with United not playing.
Let's see.
With Sacramento,
I can deliver on that, Seth.
Okay.
So we've got Lou City in first. He talks about them being on the back foot for the bulk of the game. Would you agree with that? It's kind of weird to see them like sitting back and letting Sacramento call the shots.
A little bit. I do think so. In a way, I disagree. Lou City played 3 at the back, which is aggressive on the road. So I do think from that standpoint, I can't say that they sat back and let Sacramento dictate, but I do think that they weren't necessarily as good getting forward as they typically are. And I do think that Sacramento had some opportunities early to get into the final third, but Lou City and their ability to transition forward and back is really good. And both teams had opportunities in that first half. So I do disagree to an extent, but again, playing at home, teams are typically more confident. And I think
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it's what you saw from Sacramento. I think you saw them more confident. Do I necessarily think that they were better than Lou City? No.
They got lucky.
Hmm.
I'm sticking with that. So number 2, he's got Battery.
Okay.
They moved up 2 spaces after their win against Tampa. Um, Number 3, San Antonio, so they dropped 1 space, and now
Mhm.
that was another scoreline that I was surprised by. I was intending to watch it. At the very least, I was intending to put it on my TV so that the ratings were, contribute to those ratings, but, boy, I would have lost a bet
Yeah.
had I been placing bets on that game.
Yeah, I could see where that would where that would be happening. So, um, yeah,
Number
that
4 is Monterey Bay.
mhm.
They went down a space. They drew with Detroit. 5 is, Loudon. Loudon.
Loudon, yeah.
I always say that wrong. They moved up 2 spots, beating
Mhm.
Hartford, which I think is not really a hard thing these days, right?
No.
Number 6,
Hartford, yeah.
Sacramento. They're still top
No.
10.
No,
They
they
he
went
made them go
up.
4
How?
because they got lucky.
Oh my God, John, get off of the Sacramento payroll.
Love fest.
Seriously, there are some other things that I would say, but there are young ears in the other room. Like, John, come on, dude. Nothing that Sacramento did in that game warranted a 4-spot jump. Like,
Yeah, let's see. Uh, let's see. What is the gist that he's saying? He said there was just a lot of, it was a rough performance, led to dull sequences of long balls. But against Lou City, they found more control. They had, I guess, a 17-year-old in, Blake Wiley.
mhm.
He was pivotal, looked really good in possession. They did spectacularly to prevent Lou City from starting their cycle of pressure and counter pressure. So
Again, it's okay. So yes, Lou City has. I think we all had Lou City 1 or 2 heading into it prior to this week.
mhm,
To and Lou City is known for taking points on the road. It's just part of what they do. Did
mhm,
they have a stellar game?
yep,
No. No, Lou City didn't have a stellar game. But you can't say the same thing. You can't even say that about Sacramento. And yes, there were long, dull periods. And again, I think they were playing confidently, but they didn't do anything. They really didn't. Their goal was a fluke off of a mistake.
yeah,
It
yep.
was.
Definitely not worthy, I think, of jumping 4 points. I don't know.
No. I mean, and again, we talked about last week. Power rankings are what have you done for me lately? They're
I
still
suppose if
winless
they
in
had
3.
right, I suppose if they had traveled to Lou City and come out with a draw, like, okay, maybe I could get behind that. But
Mhm.
at home, they have the home advantage. They have Lou City traveling, practically across country. Lou City was probably just, happy with the draw, looking for 1 point. Point on the road is good. So, yeah, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised by that.
Good Lord. Like, John, come on. There's no
Um,
justification for that. There's no justification. I'm sorry.
so number 7 is Tulsa, which I would think Tulsa should be up higher. I think, that they now granted they did have a bye week, so they
Mhm.
didn't play. Um,
Did they move up or down?
but they moved up 2 places. Um, I don't know. Detroit, no change, even though they drew against Monterey.
Mhm.
Lexington went down 5 spaces, losing to El Trasho.
Mm-hmm. Warranted.
Makes
I
Yeah,
think. I mean,
warranted.
Lexington is now
Yeah.
winless in 4.
Ouch. Orange County is in 10th place, down 4 after losing to Vegas.
Okay, so I can see that. Winless in 3. You haven't done a whole lot lately. Losing to Las Vegas. Yeah, fine.
New Mexico State at 11, no
Okay.
change. And I agree with what he says here. It's a respite for the team, still finding their footing. I feel like they're still kind of figuring out what the lineup's going to be,
Mhm.
what they're going to look like. Gives Coach Sanchez a little bit more time to run things through.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, fair. I mean, you have him do 2 different things with teams that were off, right?
Yeah.
Now, I can understand the drops, right? I can understand that. But again, it's just the jump for Sacramento makes 0 sense whatsoever. It just doesn't. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, well, Tulsa had a bye. Orange County lost. Lexington lost. I guess maybe also just feeling like there weren't many other teams that got out with like a result
Mhm.
that would have bumped them up much. El Paso did get bumped up 3 positions to get to 12th
I think
after
that's
beating
high.
Lexington.
I think it's very high for them.
Mhm.
But
I
but
would think it's more of a loss for Lexington than a win for El Paso, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, that would make sense.
13 is Riverhounds. They had a bye.
Mhm.
Rhode Island is 14th. They went up 2 places, beating Oakland 3-0. North
Yeah, that
Carolina
was
went down 3
mhm.
after drawing Indy. Let's see, Colorado Springs went down 2 for having a bye.
'Kay.
4
Alright.
matches, 0 goals, 0 assists. I guess not looking so great. Phoenix, I mean, they beat San Antonio. They ruined San Antonio's perfect streak, and they did not change.
Yeah. I mean, that was a weird one. That was a weird result. And like you feel bad for San Antonio in that one. Yeah, that one was a hard to watch match. But
Was it now, did you watch the Phoenix El Paso game?
I did not watch that one though.
I think that was the one where Jacob kind of compared it to Sunday League.
Mhm.
Just watching 2 teams that were just neither was good.
Yeah.
Was that kind of a similar situation where San Antonio just didn't quite show up and
Yeah.
Phoenix got lucky, or did Phoenix step it up?
Well, I mean, you had 3 goals in 7 minutes. You had 2 penalties, one for each side. It was just it was a weird 10-minute sequence where both sides made mistakes. Both sides give up penalties, and it was it was just it was a weird performance. I don't think San Antonio came anywhere remotely close to where they should have been in that match. And I losing to El Paso of all people at home, like that's or losing to Phoenix at home. Sorry, losing to Phoenix at home. That was a weird result.
Yes, I was not expecting that one
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, that
Poor
was
Harry.
just odd. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, quickly. I was just a very quick look around the league. A look at John's power rankings, which take them for what you will. John, seriously.
We disagree, John.
Yeah. Just
We
just get
appreciate
out
your
of
work, but we disagree.
get out of the back pocket of Sacramento, get off their payroll, whatever it takes. Like stop. They're not there. They're not that good yet. Like, do we think they're going to be okay? Fine. Yeah, sure. They'll be okay, but they're not there. They are not the sixth best team to the eye test. They're not the sixth best team in terms of recent record. Like, come on, John. Come on. I can't. If they lose next week and they go up, I'm gonna call for a complete and utter boycott of Backheel. I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah, just come
Yeah,
on,
Andrew.
man.
Yeah, we're dedicating a good chunk of time to. I don't know this. I don't. I feel like my dislike of Sacramento has sort of crept up on me.
Mhm,
I think because I mean last season we just never got credit for winning the
mhm.
Western Conference. You know, it was always like we basically got lucky or kind of, fell into it. And like it was still all about Sacramento, Sacramento, Sacramento. And look how
Yeah.
far they fell. They didn't even have a home match. And then to start out a whole new season and everybody's still high on them. I don't know. It just sort of fed my dislike for them.
Yeah, that I will say that is something that's kind of crept up over the past couple of years, facing them in the playoffs multiple times, not necessarily having, great regular season records against them. It's almost become like a rivalry in that aspect of it, to where you don't really know who's going to win in these matchups. You don't really know. There's no team that is kind of dominant over the other one. The lack of respect that United got last year, like you said, it was all about Sacramento, 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 not about what United did to in a positive light to win. It was
Hmm.
Sacramento underperformed down the stretch.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
to be fair, they did return a lot of their roster. So I can understand, and we were even all fairly high on them. But at least I think we all had at least had them in the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
But I think the love from the league, the love from certain shows, the love from certain individuals who it feels excessive, right? There's not enough attention being given to what the other teams are doing in a positive light,
Hmm.
if
Yep.
in my opinion. So, Andrew, yes, and it is filling time this evening because we didn't have a match to talk about over the weekend. So, um, something to talk about. But, other than that, unless you have something more to add to that, we do have some other news that popped up over the past week. We can move into that.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, first of all, United announced the return of foot golf. I know this was a really big event last year. People were really excited about that. The Somos Unidos Foundation Foot Golf Tournament is back on May 17th at the San Diego Golf Course. Get your crew ready for 18 holes of foot golf, free lunch and drink tickets, all while supporting the Somos Unidos Foundation and their mission to create positive outcomes for New Mexicans. This is something I really wanted to do last year. I didn't get the opportunity to do so. And I missed out. I really feel like I missed out on doing this last year. You are very involved with the foundation and the fundraisers that they do. We just Top Soccer just ended.
Hmm.
United in Our Abilities has been going on. With events like this, have you done the foot golf before? Will you be taking a part in this? Like,
I have not yet had the opportunity to experience it, but it definitely think I agree with you. I think it's something that I would definitely love doing. It and the pictures, the videos that they've done, um, it looks like a great time. It looks like a lot of fun.
it
At
does.
Sandia, right? So a beautiful
Sandia.
course, you know. May, hopefully by then the winds will be done and it'll be just beautiful spring weather, all for a good cause.
Yeah, that it would be. Also announced this week was the silent auction fundraiser for the Academy. I know we were both trying to look this up because I
Hmm.
personally didn't see anything on the team Twitter page. What information is out there about the silent auction, and where can folks go to support the Somos Unidos Foundation through that?
Yeah, so they're holding a silent auction to benefit the Academy. It is a fundraising event that benefits fully scholarship New Mexico United Academy on April 21st at 6 p.m. at Star Brothers, the one over on San Antonio. So looks like there's going to be a taco bar there, a taco bar dinner. You can buy tickets at the door at $5 less advance ticket purchase, $45 for advance ticket purchase. And I don't know, probably going to have some pretty good. Usually they have some pretty good silent auction items. You know,
I was going to ask, do they have anything listed that people
they
can kind of
don't.
get? No.
But they're particularly trying to fundraise to send them to Tampa later this month. Looks like that's what their goal is.
Okay, yeah. So obviously later this month, you're going to have the Academy tournament. I believe is what they're sending them out there for. So the team, the Academy team, has done very well at that tournament in the past, and it would be good to see them get out there. Josh, good that it seems the relationship with Star Brothers has healed a bit. Potentially, sounds like, especially if they're hosting events over there. I know that had gotten strained for a little while. So, but yeah, it's good to see that. I think, and I could be wrong, I think there was a change in ownership over there.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but I know that was part of the issue.
I'm looking at, I'm on the Somos Unitas website, and I missed this back in March. They're doing goals for kids, a pledge per goal. Did you know about that?
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, so you can pledge. There's a link on their website where you can still go and make your pledges. And at the end of each month, the foundation they'll charge the card for however many goals were scored. And it's going to be used to fund delivery of soccer balls and free community clinics all around New Mexico for youth, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Andrew, goals for kids is ongoing throughout the year. Yeah, we certainly didn't think that was like a limited time thing, but that's great. Again,
Yeah.
the club does so much to support the community, whether through Top Soccer, whether it's through the academy, and all the fundraisers they do, whether giving back, doing backpacks and shoes and school supplies and all sorts of stuff. Like the club is just massively involved. And we always encourage everyone else to get out there and do that as well. We've donated to the Somos Unitas Foundation as individuals and as a podcast. We've helped raise money, so go support that. Do always pay attention to what they're doing on social media. Get involved in any way that you can to help support them. I believe they have signups for that at the home matches as well. Okay, there you go. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. They probably have like a booth up somewhere that you can go and sign up for that. So all of those, all very awesome things to support the academy and support the community. Also announced this week, the club is doing a road trip. If you're interested in driving down to El Paso on Saturday, May 3rd, you can get a round trip bus transportation and a match ticket. Head on over to the club's X or Facebook or social media, any of the social media pages, to find out where to register for that. There will also be a fan block at the DoubleTree Hotel as well. The hotel is separate from the bus trip, so you have to book those separately. I think this is great. I think it's going to help get some more folks down. I know that in the past we've had like caravans go down, but I think this is a great way to get even more people involved. Pretty good deal as well. $49 plus tax round trip plus match ticket. You also get a swag bag. So
usually they have like Blake's burritos waiting for you at the bus and all that too.
Oh, there we go. Happy hour at
good grub
Hush
on the way
Hush
there.
Orange Cow food truck. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. I might actually do this.
Did you happen to catch Kaylin on Weehan's podcast?
I'd heard about it. I haven't seen it yet.
So I did watch that one, and it was kind of funny. Weehan was asking Kaylin, which match are you least looking forward to? And Kaylin talked about how they just dread going to El Paso. Like, it's just like the worst long drive and going and playing in that stadium and just yes, it's a derby, but it's more of like just traveling there and going to El Paso and the long drive, and then the both of them realize that they think they feel that way because they went so much during COVID
Mm-hmm.
that I think they went like 7 times that year. So,
Yeah, it was there were yeah, between the two COVID seasons, we faced I think we played El Paso something like 11 times. It was dumb.
yes, but all the more reason to really fill the stadium with you know, United fans to just give the players a little bit of a perk for the dreaded road trip down south.
Yeah. Well, we know there won't be any El Paso fans there, so
I think New Mexico can outnumber them in their own stadium.
they just might. But I agree, it's not a great drive. You know, it is long, it's boring. Um, you know,
When you're on a
it's
party bus, good times.
yeah, there you go. All the better. Yeah, I've made that drive solo a couple times. It's not great. It really isn't. And then honestly, Swap is not a good place. It really isn't. I don't as media, I hate the layout of it.
Mhm.
I hate how small their press area is. I hate how they do their rules for press, which is not consistent with the rest of the league and could actually get El Paso in trouble.
Mm.
So yeah, it's not a fun trip. If only the bus came back after game. I mean, that'd be late. It'd be late. You know what? Figure 7 o'clock kick, 2 hours, 4 hour drive back. You get back at 2 a.m. give or take.
Ooh.
That'd be a late night. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm sure people will be more than willing to do that, but that's a long night. So, and then the other big news of the week. The Open Cup draw happened on Thursday of last week after the second round finalized. Some really great matches in the second round of the Open Cup. If you didn't watch that last week, I highly recommend head back over to the US Soccer YouTube of all places and go watch some of these matches. There were some really good matches in the second round. And now we know that New Mexico United has been drawn into, I believe, is Group H, Group G, whatever it is, of the US Open Cup round 3. And we get to play little brother.
Speaking of playing them too often.
Yeah. Speaking of it, this will be it'll be 3 matches against El Paso within 3 weeks, basically. I
So, what
mean,
do you think, Seth? Do you think they're gonna park the bus again, or do you think they got enough grief from even their own fans
oh,
about parking the bus?
going on the road, they're going to park the bus. They're not going to do anything. Against a USL Championship club, they're going to park the bus. They're not going to do anything. So, you know, they're going to probably hope to try to get the penalties. But this is, I'm sorry. Like, look, rivalry matches, great. This is just awful. Awful. And like, yes, some of the groups are predetermined. Some of the matches were already predetermined based on who can host and who couldn't host. We've known for a month that we were going to host our first matchup. We've known that
Mhm.
this was the case. But when I look at this and I look at the teams that are left, there's got to
Yeah.
be a better way to do this because I am personally tired of seeing El Paso. I'm tired of seeing Phoenix. I get their geographical regions. I get it. Logically, it makes sense. But I'm burnt out on this matchup.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to see it. There's got to be a better way.
I mean, how fun would it have been to play, I don't know, like, the new club? What is it? The
AV Alta.
AV. Yeah, like, especially because they came out and, like, they met us in California when we were all out in LA, like, that would have been so cool to play against them, or, um, what's the other one? Farolito?
El
Like,
Farolito,
how
the
much do
Burrito
I
Boys.
love that name? Like,
Yeah.
come to New Mexico. Perfect place to come play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great. And it's, you know, you look at the teams that are left, and it's really it does really kind of suck in terms of, you know, geography, right? Because you had so many West Coast teams advance. So you do
Mhm.
have to have a little bit of overlap and you do have to have some issues, but I think U.S. Soccer needs to revisit this. I think they need to change it. And I tried playing around with this in a whole bunch of different ways. I tried looking at it and excluding the closest regional opponent, right? And I don't honestly at this point, I think U.S. Soccer either needs to subsidize the travel for these teams or just say screw it. And if you can't commit, if you can't pay for this start to finish, then you're out, right? But you look at there are new teams, like AV Alta would have been great to see. Fine. I mean, you have a couple like weird matchups. You've got Chattanooga traveling to Vegas. I mean, hell, we're closer to Chattanooga than Vegas is. That would have been interesting. Yeah, Colorado Springs getting Knoxville. Send one of the send one of the Tennessee teams here, right?
Yeah.
That would have been different. And yeah, I know we get Union Omaha later this year in Jägermeister, but hey, give us Union Omaha, like something.
Totally agree. I didn't even watch the draw because I was like, meh. I didn't really care who we got because none of the choices were good.
I mean, we predicted we were going to get El Paso. We predicted it. Like we knew it was going to happen, but like it's just one of those things where it's boring. It really is. I think there's a better way to do it. I think U.S. Soccer needs to say, okay, lower division team, you're hosting. Just done.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, let Tormenta host. Because I love Tormenta Stadium, by the way. They have a pretty little stadium down there in Statesboro. Let Tormenta host. Let Farolito host. Let Chattanooga host. Let Knoxville host. Because that's how it should be. Give them the greater lion's share of the gate. Right?
I mean, it's the same when MLS comes into play. How excited are we for them to host and for us to go and play in these amazing, huge stadiums? And, it would be the same for these other teams to have the opportunity to host the USL Championship team.
Yeah. Yeah, it will. And like I said, you do have some lower division clubs hosting. You've got Columbus Crew 2, you've got Portland, you've got Union Omaha, Charlotte Independence, AV Alta, Naples, and then those are the ones that are hosting. But yeah, I think put all those lower division teams in there. Let them all host. Like that's how it should be. Westchester SC, Knoxville, Chattanooga, let them all host. Farolito, let them all host. That's how it should be. But I mean, do you think they just need to say screw the geographical stuff from round one?
Yep, I think so. They have to invest in it. I mean, especially if USL wants to do promotion relegation, like you got to be willing to invest in these sorts of things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, there are plenty of places out there to draw from. I said, just look at the English football pyramid, draw from that. It's very, very simple. Everybody's in, everybody plays, lower team hosts. Done. That's all it is. There's no geography in that. It's just everybody in the nation.
Yep, I agree.
Subsidize.
I think they need to put you in charge, Seth.
Okay, done. I'll take the job. I will be the Open Cup commissioner going forward. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, it's just look, fine, whatever. I mean, you look at these matchups: Columbus Crew 2 hosting Pittsburgh, Lou City hosting Loudon, Charlotte hosting North Carolina, Portland hosting Rhode Island. I think that one's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that one. Battery hosting Tormenta. Again, boring. I've seen it. I'm done. I mean, it's basically either Tormenta and Battery or Tormenta and Charlotte every single year. Union Omaha hosting San Antonio, AV Alta hosting Orange County, Tacoma Defiance hosting Oakland, Detroit City hosting Westchester, FC Naples hosting Tampa Bay, Indy 11 hosting Miami, FC Tulsa hosting Phoenix Rising, Colorado hosting One Knoxville, us, and obviously Little Brother, Sacramento hosting El Farolito, and Las Vegas hosting Chattanooga. But yeah, it's, and all these matches will be taking place either on April 15th, April 16th. So this is next week. Our match is on Wednesday of next week. I had the idea that if it was going to be on Tuesday, that we go live while it's going
Mhm.
and do live reacts, talk about the next, talk about next weekend's match as well. But not we're playing on Wednesday night. I believe that's going to be at the lab.
No, it's gonna be at,
No,
UNM.
is it? Oh yeah, that's right. It's at UNM.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, fine, whatever.
Meh, yeah, meh.
I mean, you can still get a few thousand people in there. So,
Yeah.
USSF does subsidize travel to a degree. Okay, but it needs to be upfront. If USSF is going to subsidize it, just fully pay for it upfront. Here's your money done, right?
Mhm.
And especially with the increased prize pool this year, U.S. Soccer's got to step up. So yeah, Wednesday night, 16th, we're hosting El Paso over at UNM. Get out there. It should be a nice night. Weather might actually be nice next week.
No more
Yeah,
wind.
right. I think the last time we played at UNM for Open Cup was Las Vegas Legends.
Yes, that was a fun match.
It was.
Mhm.
I tried to talk to the Las Vegas Legends folks. They like disappeared on us.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
think
I
that
had a
was
back and forth with
Nava's
them.
first goal for the club
It
was that
was.
match, which is
Yep.
really cool to see.
That it was. Yeah, I reached out to Legends to try to talk to their coach, try to get them on the show, and we talked back and forth for a bit, and then they just disappeared. So, it's but no, it's great. UNM has a great atmosphere. I hope we have a good sized crowd. I would love to see
Mhm.
some folks out there. Obviously not a fan of the camera angle shooting across to an empty
Yeah.
empty parking lot,
That's
but
unfortunate.
yeah, that is unfortunate. But so yeah, Open Cup next week. But before then, we do have one more match to talk about, and that is New Mexico United hosting North Carolina FC for the first time ever in this matchup here. North Carolina FC, we mentioned them earlier. They're coming off of a draw 2-2 against Indy 11. Prior to that, 2 wins over FC Tulsa and Charleston Battery. This match is coming up this Saturday. Saturday, what time? Sorry, I'm looking at trying to get the time. I think it's at 7 o'clock.
7,
Yeah.
and Andrew
So
says it's gonna be almost 90 on Saturday.
yeah, almost
All
90 on
right.
Saturday. And it's going to be 52 at kickoff. Because
Uh,
our nighttime air hasn't quite warmed up yet. So, but yeah, I get first home match in what would have been a two match gap there. Club's
mhm.
back at home, playing well so far, 3 consecutive wins. Looking at what North Carolina is doing so far, and I know Jacob and I disagreed a couple weeks back on how they looked. They're really kind of putting it together right now. I look at them and I have been impressed, and I think that draw over Indy 11 was a really well played match for
And they're a pretty quick pace team, right? Like, in terms
them.
of, like, they pretty firm press, they pass pretty quickly, they like to keep the ball moving. I imagine that's gonna be, well, I mean, I'd prefer that over these teams coming into the lab and parking the bus.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, though? Like, I did catch part of the USL show from a few weeks back. Um, John talked about, uh, not getting into it, but having some conversation with Jacob on Blue Sky about our our displeasure with his rankings. But they did talk about, I guess, Las Vegas last year. Sanchez, that was kind of how teams figured out how to play against Las Vegas last year with Sanchez at the helm, was parking the bus. And so I don't know, they seem to have the impression that a lot of teams are going to continue with that against a Sanchez team, that they're going to come into the lab and park the bus pretty consistently.
Well, I mean, teams could kind of do the same thing against the Quill-Led United last year because of the way we tried to play. If you sat with 5 in the box, it was going to be difficult for us to break that down because of our lack of size and our lack of ability to really throw a wrench at what opponents wanted to do defensively. And I think you're going to see some teams come in and do that. But I don't think that's North Carolina. I think North Carolina wants to play aggressive football. They want to
Mhm.
be on the front foot. They don't want to sit back. And I mean, they have a ton of pace. You look at their roster, and they've spent some money this offseason to build that roster. Um, you've got they brought some guys in. I like Evan Conway. I'm a big fan of Evan Conway. He does a lot of things. They got Colin Martin over there, Rodrigo da Costa. They've got guys who are difference makers. They've got guys who are going to, run at us. And like I said, they're not going to. Yes, they're good at the back, but you're not going to see them sit with 5 in the box. You're just not.
Mhm.
And so I think this is going to be an interesting test for us here at the lab. I think that we have to be better defensively, particularly, we can't necessarily let anyone play direct, because that's where we've struggled with that so far this year.
Yeah, and no sloppy passes in the back.
No, good Lord, no,
We've
you can't.
Yeah, there's been a little struggle with that too.
Yeah, no, you certainly can't do that. I mean, really against anybody, as we've seen in multiple matches throughout this year. But yeah, and they're quick. They're quick on the ball. They're quick to recovery. They're good with getting those second chance balls. And we're not necessarily aggressive enough when it comes to that. We're not necessarily physical and getting guys off the ball. We haven't been great through the midfield that we talked about last week. I think Zico Bailey, who is back, I think Zico's going to help with that. But tactically, North Carolina is very sound. They're very sound, and I think that they are going to present some issues for us. And that's where you need guys like Zico, and I know Space Kid's not here, but he would tell you, Gideon needs to be more involved. He's going to help stabilize that. I'd like to see it. I think he did better last week than he has so far, but I think if you get Gideon, you get Bailey in there, I think that's a pretty solid midfield for United.
Mhm. I'm, uh, I'm excited to see, I feel like it was pretty cool to see, Fernando get his first goal the last match.
Mhm.
I think starting to click up top and just getting that confidence too. I appreciate him shooting from the outside. I know I say that probably every single week, but that's what I wanna see. I wanna see more of that. It's just like drilling the goal, going
Mhm.
for it. Stop trying to make all of these passes and get the perfect, tap in.
No, I agree, and that's something that we talked about with Coach Quill. We talked about that with him, how guys are trying to be too perfect. They're trying to find those perfect moments when you can't do that. And I'm sure we'll talk to Coach about it too. And it is encouraging to see guys like McKenzie and Fernando shoot from even at the edge of the 18 and beyond. It is very encouraging, because what that does, it draws defenders out, it helps spread them out, and it gives you more opportunities. Like, you're not gonna find wide open nets like Sacramento did the other night. You're just not. So that's what you have to draw them out. You have to create opportunities without being inside that area. And if you could do
Mhm.
that, that then leads to opportunities inside the area. And when you don't have the size, like we've always struggled with, that's what that's what you have to do. You have to create those opportunities and make areas happen, right? And so yeah, the shooting from outside is definitely encouraging, and I want to see more of that. Uh, Jabang had a couple shots as well. Again, he looked a lot like Nanan.
Yeah. He was at the clinic on Sunday.
Mhm.
So it was really cool to meet him and to just get him to see and interact with the kids, and, like, it made me even more of, like, just kinda geeking out and being a fan, and, like, I really wanna see him, be successful and have fun. Like he seems just really like lighthearted and full of energy, super sweet. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the pitch more.
Yeah, he's obviously anytime you have new players come in, you want to see them do well. You want to see them get
Hmm.
opportunities. And we've seen some opportunities for a few of these guys early already. We've seen even Sergio get some minutes, and I think our midfield is going to continue to grow. And Jabang and Bailey and Gideon are all going to be integral as we go
Hmm.
forward. You just you can't give up possession in the defensive third. You can't even really give it up in the defensive half. But yeah, it's again, North Carolina is good through the middle. They are,
Yeah.
and they're going to be tough. And we're going to have to make crisp, clean passes without giving up opportunities to get forward.
I hope that we get more of Sergio, how he played last match where it was a lot more forward movement.
Mhm.
And like he has a good eye for finding those through balls. When he's on, he's on. And so I hope that he'll continue with that forward momentum rather than feeling kind of stalled out and passing backward.
Yeah, that is certainly something that has been noted and talked about by a lot of different people. Why? And I mean, we've done it too. Why is Sergio just turning in, passing backwards and all this kind of stuff? And there have been times, last year, and we've seen it. We saw it in his first couple, first appearance this year. He was very hesitant to try to move forward. Now, maybe that's a hesitancy to try to really explode and get going because of his surgery.
Hmm.
But you can see him growing in confidence. You can see him
Hmm.
feeling better about it. And instead of head down looking behind him, he's got his head up, he's looking forward, he's looking for opportunities to turn and get up. Now, I do still think he needs to make those decisions quicker, but he's certainly getting there.
He can do it.
That he can. Looking at North Carolina, is there anybody in particular that you have concerns about with this roster in terms of who United needs to potentially focus on?
Nobody in particular. What stood out to me is just how cohesive and quick they are together. I
Mhm.
feel like we're gonna have to really work hard to just break down that cohesion as a whole, and we can't have slip ups.
No, no, you can't. Yeah, I mean, they've got some guys with some experience, in that lineup. Again, Colin Martin, Paco Craig, Connor Donovan. They've got guys who are experienced, are going to provide opportunities and make good decisions.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's anytime you have a team that can play through the middle and have those pivots and get forward, they're going to be tough. And you've got to find ways to break those lines. And with us and our tendency to play out of the back, I think it is, again, you got to be cautious. You've got to be cautious. And you talked about it. You can't make those mistakes. You can't make those soft passes. You can't make those mistakes because they will jump on it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see, who starts and how this match turns out on Saturday.
Mhm. Mhm. And we'll see if altitude drink is a factor.
Yeah,
That's
that'll be
usually
interesting.
hopefully we're not gonna see lots of, cramping and delaying when they start to get too tired.
Well, looking at their season schedule so far, I think the highest elevation they might have played at is Indianapolis. So yeah, this will definitely be a test for them. Yeah, give me Tulsa, Carolina. Yeah, Indianapolis is probably the highest elevation they play at. So this will be interesting for them on Saturday.
Mhm.
Um, all right, what is your score prediction for United and North Carolina FC?
Well, I we're at home. We had a bye week. I think the guys are super motivated. Um, I anticipate a win. Originally, I would say like 1-0 simply because we're not shooting enough. I mean, if you don't shoot, you don't score. But I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty fast-paced game. I feel like United is going to match their pace. Hopefully, they don't come in and park the bus. Hopefully, they do come in and press and have that quick pace on the ball that we've been talking about. Um, so that's going to leave me. I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet. So I'm going to go for the standard 2-1 win.
Standard 2-1. Okay, makes sense. And I know I talked about it last week. Is that have we overestimated our ability to score? We've predicted 2-1, 2-0, 3-0, 3. We've predicted these things. Our offense hasn't necessarily borne out those multi-goal wins. So I like the confidence. I do. I would love to see us get on the score sheet multiple times again. I mean, I think first of all we have to create more opportunities. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And through opportunities, more goals, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be tough. You look at what they've given up so far. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goals in 5 matches. So not terrible, not great. Now one of the matches that they gave up was an own goal. So I don't think you can, can't really count that one, I guess. But they're good defensively. They really are.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. We see Justin with a 2-2 draw, Andrew with hoping for a 2-1 win, expecting a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I mean, we can't keep relying on Alex to come up big. We can't keep relying on the post to be the 12th man. We've had our fair share of getting lucky. So I for sure I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet.
No, I don't think it would be either. I don't think we lose. But as a matter of do I think we're going to outscore them? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1. I right now I don't have faith that we can that we can put 2 past somebody right now.
I mean, Andrew, you're right. If we put Ron in goal, for sure it'll be a clean sheet. Done.
Yeah, like I know we scored 3 against Vegas. There you go. Yeah, I know we scored 3 against Vegas a couple weeks ago, but I feel like with what we've seen so far, that was more of a fluke than anything, which is odd considering what Vegas did last year, considering how many points they scored last year or how many goals they scored last year. So I don't know.
I think Vegas, there was just a different level of pressure. It was Sanchez's previous team. They were the ones that eliminated us from the playoffs. So I feel like, and we were coming off of that really unfortunate opening match against Sacramento. So I feel like the guys just had like that extra little oomph to play for. Hence, the dramatic ending. I definitely feel like that's an outlier. At least so far this season.
Yeah, so far I was looking to see how many times did they score multiple goals in a match last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times last year. They scored 2 or more goals in a match. So I mean, Sanchez-led clubs can do it. I mean, that was a third of their matches they scored 2 or more goals. So
how many goals have we given up so far this season?
We have given up 3. No. 2, 4, 4. We've given up 4. Yep. 2 to Vegas, 2 to Sacramento.
Not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, 1 goal per match. It's not terrible. I think we're near the bottom in terms of goals allowed in the league. goals conceded. Yeah, only Vegas, Lou City, Pittsburgh, and Tulsa have allowed fewer goals than we have. So
Say that again.
Tulsa,
Vegas, Tulsa.
Vegas, Lou City, Pittsburgh, and Tulsa.
Oh,
Tulsa
okay.
has allowed 1 goal.
Ah,
Yeah.
I mean, 3 points is 3 points, but yeah.
Yep. So
I
yeah, I
mean,
mean, defensively we've been good. We haven't given up as many goals as I think last year we had given up more goals in the first few matches, but of course, also the battery match and all the East Coast trips didn't help last
yeah,
year.
yeah.
So, um,
Have you seen, I guess I don't know if I'd say it's a meme, but it's a pretty funny video of fans running behind a goal with arrows pointing at the goal,
yeah,
so they'd, like, run. I feel like if I were in charge over at the Curse side, I'd be aiming for that kinda stuff, like, "Shoot the ball, just shoot the ball right
I
here."
yeah, I don't disagree. It might not be a bad idea for the Curse to do, um, but I really want the energy to be there. It should be nice weather. The club deserves it. They
Mhm,
really do. And
mhm,
I know, the attendance was great for the opener. Want to see that again. Want to see you want to see the energy, and I really feel like that was something that was lacking in Miami. It was something that
mhm.
was that's been lacking in a couple of these matches. So hopefully that energy's there. I want us to get the win. I think you said 2-1. I said 1-1. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Uh,
Are you gonna be
yeah.
there on Saturday?
No, I won't be there on Saturday. I'm actually going to be in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I don't think Jacob's gonna be there either.
No.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think he said he couldn't make it.
Okay. Yeah, I know he was in the chat earlier. I know he was. There's a possibility of him jumping on this tonight. So, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out if Jacob's going to be there. But no, I'll be across the country this week. So, looking forward to that. So, all right. All right. Before we get out of here, any closing thoughts? Anything else you'd like to throw out there?
Um, no, just, yeah, I'm excited for them to finally be playing at home again. Like I said, last weekend was kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to them playing Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, now it's gonna be a while before we get to play them again, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which is gonna be weird for sure. The United in Our Abilities is coming up in 2 weeks. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Okay.
And, we already they had already closed registration because we already hit 75 kids, but, they were gonna open it up to 10 more kids, which is pretty exciting. So that's our biggest one yet. This will be year 3. And so like I said, Jabang and, Sergio were there this last weekend, and I talked to both of them, and they both seem to have a a blast. Since it's gonna be another bye week for United, hoping to see more first team players come to the clinic. It definitely makes the kids excited and makes them feel pretty, I don't know, just, like, extra pumped up to show the guys what they can do.
Yeah.
So,
Makes
definitely a super
sense.
rewarding opportunity. So if there are people who are interested in coming and volunteering, reach out to the Somos Unidos Foundation, let them know that you're interested. The more the merrier.
Yeah, very cool. Like I said earlier, always get out, support the club any way you can. United Our Abilities, another really great program that the club does. If you get the opportunity to go out, support that, get involved. Anything to help make our communities better is
Mhm.
a win in my book. So I just double checked. We wouldn't see Colorado again until June, June
Yeah,
7th,
that's
and then June 28th for Jägermeister.
crazy to think that we will have already seen El Paso 3 times before we finally see Colorado.
And we'll be done with them.
Yeah,
We'll be
I'm
done with
okay with
El
that.
Paso. Yeah, I am too. So. Alrighty, I think that's gonna do it for us this evening. I think Christina, thank you so much for being here. As always, we do love the fact that you're a part of the show now, and we actually, like I said, we get tremendous feedback about you being on the show. So thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for having the conversation.
Yeah.
Uh, Jacob, hopefully Jacob will be back with us next week. Hopefully everything is well with him and his family. But yeah, to everybody over in the chat, Josh, Justin, Andrew, and I think that was it this evening. Yep, just you three.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you guys as always. Harry, we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully you're doing well after the San Antonio loss, and hopefully things are going well outside of the game. If you need anything, let us know. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for being here. Make sure you rate, follow, subscribe, share, like, all that kind of stuff. Hit the bell, turn the
Do
notifications
all the
on,
things.
all the things, keep sharing the podcast. You guys have been great. And then yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday night, hopefully talking about 3 points over North Carolina FC, talking about Open Cup against Little Brother, and then looking forward to next Saturday's match against
Is it Tulsa?
Monterey.
Oh, Monterey.
Yep,
That'll be
Monterey.
another good one. Yeah.
That it will be. So until next time, everyone, Somos Unidos.
Night.